Good morning, my lovelies. Welcome to the Coffee Run Live, episode number 597. We are so getting there. Got to tell you, I live in the world of Victoria, as you may or may not know, and we've got press conferences imminent, and I'm just sharing this everywhere. We've got all sorts of things happening today, so I'm feeling a little bit fragile, actually. So I decided today that what I'd do is actually just talk to you a little bit about what happened yesterday, and that will give you a little bit of insight into what I think is really important for all of us to be aware of. So I, in my infinite wisdom in February last year, we decided that we were going to go to Bali on a holiday. And we didn't go to Bali on a holiday in February last year, but what we did do is we made the decisions to go ahead and book our accommodation ahead of some flight specials that we hoped were coming out perhaps in the following month. And before I bought said accommodation, I actually got on the phone with Westpac, who I bank with, and as part of our credit card reward program, we actually get complimentary international travel insurance. And I was like, right, it was like right at the end of January. There was some COVID stuff happening overseas, but we hadn't been hit with very much of it over here just yet. And I was like, right, well, we want to go to Bali. There's this great accommodation deal. There's only one particular room available. Before I go and book it, I'm just going to go and check to make sure that we're covered by our travel insurance. If I go ahead and book and we can't get there because a pandemic might be declared and this, that, and the other. So there was the 5 of us going, my daughter's boyfriend, my parents were looking at coming, etc. So I call up, they said, yes. So long as you do it before the pandemic is declared, you're absolutely covered. I was like, okay, sweet. Let's rock and roll ahead of maybe some flight specials coming out in the following month. Now, as we all know, what happened in March was the world went mad. And COVID ended up everywhere, and there was a pandemic declared, I think on the 11th of March or something, and we were like, we're not going to go to Bali. So along the way, I guess, like the things that I've been, dealing with, like they were going to put a credit on the accommodation. We thought, oh, that's great. We should be able to get there by maybe the end of the year. No. But what's happened is I've gone and lodged my travel insurance claim, right? Legitimately, we cannot get to Bali. Nobody's traveling anywhere at the minute. And I'm trying to make this claim. Now, one of the things that they were I was on the phone with them yesterday, and this kind of explains the theme for today around people wanting to be heard. The consultant that I got on the phone yesterday was so rude and abrupt and kept trying to cut me off, and like I'm trying to explain my position. I am the kind of person that needs to get all of my words out, and I was very cool, calm and collected until she was just like kept talking over the top of me. I said, you need to let me speak, right? So the thing is that everybody needs to feel heard, right? And it might not change the outcome, but at least if I can get my words out, then I assume that the person on the other end of the phone is going, or however this conversation is happening, the person on the other side is going to be able to understand and perhaps empathize with where I'm at. Doesn't necessarily mean that their outcome or that their policy or anything that they're going to have to sit behind changes. But if you let me have my run, then it makes everything a lot easier. So if you're thinking about a complaints resolution process, for those of you that don't know, hey Kate, I worked for one of the major banks in the country for about 11 or 12 years in my previous life, and I loved it. And one of the things that I learned, one of the very first trainings that I was sent off to when I joined the bank was the complaints resolution process. And it's something that still sticks with me today. And one of the big things that I remember is that they drew on the board, the person that delivered the training. Oh no, Esri, just found a bug. One of the big things that they drew was the hill, right? So this actually, you guys, this translates into your children. This translates into your relationships. This process translates into your marketing. Hey, Paul, this process translates into everything. We need to let them run the hill. So usually we'll talk about it from a complaint perspective, or from if you're having a dispute, or if you're having a fight with your kids or your husband or wife or whatever, partner. So what happens is, like, we generally start here, and then the more we are not heard, we escalate, right? And if you try and chop me off here, it's no good. Like, I need to be able to get all my words out, so that then at this point, and the best thing you can say is, okay, right, I hear you, and then they go, keep going. And then they might say, all right, is there anything else that you'd like to share? And then that might be here, keep going. Let the people get their freaking words out, right? And then go, okay, what else? Is there anything else that you want to say? And then what happens is that we start to be able to diffuse the energy, right? And then we can start to have more rational conversations and things like that, because they're feeling like the person who's getting this all out, it's not venting, but it's almost venting. They can get all of their words out so that they can try and be heard by the other person. It makes for a much smoother process. Now, what I was reminded of yesterday was this exact fact. I'm like, she's not fucking hearing me. She's not listening to me. This is making me really mad. Just let me speak so that I can get it all out. I can get all the information out, and then we can get into problem-solving mode. The problem that most of us have is that we like to jump in and we want to fix things, right? Fixer? I'm a fixer. You're probably a fixer too. But the thing that we've got to get really good at doing is making sure that our people are able to get the things out, get things off their chest. We don't need to fix it yet, so that they can get everything out. Now, the other thing that we've got to be aware of, I guess, in terms of our marketing is, like, obviously our prospective clients and our prospective customers, they're not jumping on our social media feeds going, blah, 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 blah. But it's really important for them to feel heard, for them to feel understood, for them to feel empathized with. And this is why it is so important in all of your marketing for you to be talking about real life scenarios with either your clients or the things that you've gone through, creating places for them to be able to go, oh, it's not just me. Oh, I feel really heard. Oh, I feel really understood. Yeah, my situation might be a little bit different, but at the end of the day, yeah, this is something that I feel like this person is going to be able to relate to me. And then obviously when you get on the phone with them or you start working with them, that then moves forward into the next level, and you start consulting with them or coaching them, or, you know, working with them in your therapy practice or whatever happens to be. So the biggest thing that I can tell you that is really, really important when we're online, we've got to assume that your people, we've got to talk to the people who you want to be your ideal client, right? Otherwise, they're not going to feel heard, they're not going to feel understood, and then they're not going to buy from you. So if you're not making sales, if you're not getting the engagement, maybe it's because your audience are kind of like, I don't even think that this person even gets me. I don't even think this person even actually understands me. And, you know, what would even happen when I started working with them? So that can be something that you're looking at. So making sure that you know who you're talking to, making sure that you're creating empathy, letting them know some real stories, and being vulnerable about some of the stuff that you're going through and working through. And if you do ever need to deal with a client who's angry or upset, or a prospective client or customer who's angry or upset, one of the best things you can do is let them get to the top of the hill, let them know that they're understood, so that you can then start to diffuse the situation and start problem solving together. So that is that, my friends. Have a kick-ass, awesome, and amazing day. And I will, of course, see you tomorrow. Fingers crossed that the Victorian lockdown does not get extended. I think we've got Buckley's chance of that, but we can be hopeful, right? We can be hopeful. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.